All right, guys, moving on because again, there's a lot of NFL news. We already talked about Deshaun Watson. We talked about Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers. I want to get to a bombshell that FS1 undisputed Skip Bayless, my man Skip Bayless, the man that I listen to every single morning alongside Shannon Sharp, broke yesterday on his podcast, The Skip Bayless Show, which you can also check out wherever you get your podcast and on the Skip Bayless Show YouTube channel. And that is this: Tom Brady retired only because Tom Brady did not want to be a Buccaneer anymore. Tom Brady allegedly planned for him and Sean Payton to go to Miami and for Tom Brady to face Bill Belichick twice a year as a member of the Miami Dolphins, which would have been absolutely insanity around the NFL. That did not happen because of the Brian Flores lawsuit that the former Miami Dolphins head coach put on the team. Obviously, the Dolphins knew at that point they had to go in a different direction. Then, Tom Brady, after the Brian Flores lawsuit came out, contacted the San Francisco 49ers, his team that he grew up rooting for when he was a little boy growing up in California, right next to Candlestick Park, where the Niners used to play, and said, "Hey, Kyle, hey, Kyle Shanahan, hey, John Lynch, do you guys still want me? Because you didn't want me in 2020 when I tried to come here. You decided to stick with Jimmy Garoppolo when I let Jimmy Garoppolo was going out the door. Would you take me for 1 year? Would you stick Trey Lance's development one more year for me to come back and play for you?" And Kyle Shanahan said, "No, thank you," to the GOAT, Tom Brady. Now, the Buccaneers would not have allowed him to play for another team. Regardless, Bruce Arians, the head coach, Jason Light, the general manager, had reportedly told Brady that he will not be allowed to play for another team. He still has 1 year under his contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he will play for the Buccaneers this season. Now, Tom Brady also, according to Skip, has recruited Julio Jones after he got cut from Tennessee to come join him in Tampa, and he recruited Russell Gage, the wide receiver, the former Atlanta Falcon, to come join him in Tampa. So it's not like Tom Brady is not recruiting players. It's not like he's not happy in Tampa Bay. Tom Brady is done with Bruce Arians. And I said this when the deal first got made, when Tom Brady went to Tampa Bay. I said, I love their weapons. I love Mike Evans. I love Chris Godwin. I love Cameron Brate. I love OJ Howard, who's just signed with the Buffalo Bills, a big pickup for them, and Josh Allen and crew. I said, I love all of that. I love their defense with Devin White, Levante David, JPP, and all the guys they had over there. I said, I'm not sure if Tom Brady and Bruce Arians' relationship is going to work. They run two different schemes. Bruce Arians is all about no risk it, no biscuit. Like Jameis Winston, 30 touchdowns, but 30 interceptions. Throw the ball down the field. Brady is a lot more surgical. Throw the ball to the running back. Throw to the guy in the slot. Calculated deep shots down the field. 4 or 5 a game, not every first down. It is two different offensive philosophies. And Bruce Arians is turning into the offensive-minded Belichick, where not in smarts like an Andy Reid, but a wear down, a tear down, an arrogant, a mean, a brutal coach to play for. He just wears people out. Tom Brady is no longer having fun in Tampa Bay like he did when he first got there. The weather is great, but it is not fun playing for a hard-nosed coach like Bruce Arians. Brady thought it was going to be a lot more, a little bit more loose, but still structured in the way that New England was. And it just has not been that with Bruce Arians. Tom Brady and Bruce Arians' relationship is fractured. This will be Tom Brady's last season in Tampa Bay. The interesting thing will be next year if the Dolphins decide to move off to Tagovailoa, if they fire Mike McDaniel after 1 year and bring in Sean Payton, or the Niners decide after this season Trey Lance ain't it, and they go out and they get Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr., the GOAT, for one last playoff run. It's going to be very interesting to see. If I was the Niners, by the way, I think I would have done it. I think this is an absolute mistake to not let Tom Brady join your football team. Now, given the Buccaneers would have probably not let him go. As I said, it's more than likely Brady would have been an NBA Buccaneer this year regardless. But I think if the Shanahans, Kyle, and even Mike Shanahan, who's an advisor there in San Francisco, and John Lynch gave the keys to Tom Brady and that car with that ferocious pass rush in San Francisco, with George Kittle, with all those great running backs, Tom Brady would have made it work, and the Niners, who have always had the Rams and Sean McVay's number, would have went on to win the Super Bowl this year in the NFC. Now, again, that's not saying the Bucs cannot win the Super Bowl this year. Because of this news that Tom Brady and Bruce Arians, I'm not taking the Bucs out of my Super Bowl window, because we saw what Brady and New England did when there was not much trust with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. They still went to Super Bowl 52 and watched the Philadelphia Eagles in probably the greatest Super Bowl ever, 41-33. They still beat the Rams the next year. They still made it to 2 more Super Bowls when there was discord in the room following the relationship with Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and Jimmy Garoppolo. So the Bucs can absolutely make the Super Bowl this year. Tom Brady is going to make the best of it. Hopefully, for his sake, Rob Gronkowski comes back. Cameron Brate should have more of a role in the offense now that O.J. Howard is gone. And as I mentioned, Russell Gage, Chris Godwin, who will be back mid-season, Mike Evans, you throw in potentially Julio Jones into that list. That is a loaded weaponry for Tom Brady, and they probably, next to the Rams, should be the favorite to go out and win the NFC next season. But the fact of the matter is, this will be Brady's last season in Tampa Bay. I called it when he first signed there. I said him and Bruce Arians will not get along. Bruce Arians is mean. Bruce Arians' scheme is different than Brady's, and quite frankly, Bruce Arians is an overrated football coach. I said it at the time. He's a little bit loosey-goosey. He's not as disciplined as I would like him to be, and it's showing here now. But again, do not count that out of the Bucs here for their Super Bowl run.